Do you believe in the law of attraction?
Yes, I do. I really do. If you're not attracted to each other, like physically or with chemistry, that's very hard to fake.
Right. But
and it's probably not going to go anywhere. Because if what you're looking at doesn't at least excite you to look at, then, I mean, even just a small sliver, I'm not saying like you have to be supermodel because yuck, but you have to like what you're potentially looking at, even just a tiny little bit.
Right. And there's also then the deeper law of attraction, which goes to the energetic and energy realm in all of it, that what you think and believe, you will manifest.
Okay, yeah.
So what I'm hearing is that you are thinking and believing because it's been your experience. It's like a chicken and an egg kind of thing. So you're a little girl did you stay in this community most of your life?
We moved around quite a bit. We didn't have like a stable, nurturing growing up environment. So my experiences back then have really put a huge cloud over my current existence, hence why I'm trying to make changes. But at the same time, I've always settled for less than probably what I should have because my self-esteem and self-worth was so low.
Got it.
And that's, like I said, something I'm trying to change. I know that there's somebody probably out there. It's just very hard to find. And sometimes you just get tired of looking, or even not looking. You just get tired of the whole thing in general.
Yes. And that does take the mindset. It takes a tweak and a shift in mindset. And, for example, if I could wave a magic wand over you and it would erase, kind of reboot your computer, right? Like totally clean out your computer, more than even reboot it, but clean it out, take everything off of it except the basic knowing, the innocence plus the inner knowing, not the experiential knowing, but the inner knowing that we are all born with, and that doesn't get all virusy from the years of all the input that for you wasn't so great or could have been better.
Right.
Yeah. If I could wave that magic wand and that would happen, how do you think you would feel in approaching men and dating?
I honestly couldn't tell you because I don't know.
You're clouded, right? Yeah, because of all your experiences.
Well, and I've never seen anybody in my family. Well, my grandma did later in life, but I wasn't really involved or around, so I didn't really get to see it. But nobody in my immediate family has had, in all honesty, a good, solid, nurturing, safe relationship. My family is very a lot of abuse, and there's a lot of addiction, and we have a lot of hoes in my family, and it's just not a good situation. So nobody, like I said, in my family, other than my grandma for like 5 years, and I, again, wasn't around, and now her and her husband are both deceased, I've never seen what a good marriage looks like or a good relationship. Mm-hmm. So it makes it kind of difficult to even say, I can tell you what a fairy tale is, but I can't tell you what an actual good relationship would be.
Got it. Right, so it makes it even more challenging because you didn't see it and it wasn't modeled for you, what I'm hearing is that you want to model something different for your children.
Right.
That's fantastic, because it's somebody somewhere along the way needs to start breaking the cycle.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's what you're doing. And that's fantastic, because to even be aware, and I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that likely you are the one in your family that is aware of it, and that others are maybe more blissfully ensconced in what was, and their eyes aren't as open as yours. They don't get it in the way that you do.
I feel like there's a lot of denial, and if we just pretend like it's not there, we don't have to deal with it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I've never been that way, even when I was a young child.
Exactly.
I've always just been, if my mouth doesn't say it, my face does. I'm very much like my dad like that. But I just never, even when I was little, understood, like, why are you pretending?
Mm-hmm.
Like, to a degree, I get why you would pretend, like, it's like the women that get beat. My brother beat his wife, and he beat his girlfriend. He used to beat the shit out of me when I was little.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I have moments when I don't remember when I was little because he used to beat me up so bad. But it's like, and I get why you would hide that, but at the same time, it's like, if you continue to hide it, you're not fixing it. So why wouldn't you just fix the problem?
That's right. Yes. But you see,
fix it and be done, and then move on.
You're different in that way, is that it takes like you said, you were just born that way. You didn't get clouded. That inner knowing that you were born with stayed with you in a really big way. And even with the beatings and the mental abuse and the addiction around you and all of it, you had something in you, some inner strength, something there that said, no, not right, not going to be what I'm going to do with my life, not going to be me. And that's so far ahead. Do you know how far ahead that is? Just all of that knowing?
No, because I don't think that deeply into it. I just figured it was like a God thing where he just really had his hand on me pretty hard, because I know there's no way I could have beaten a drug addiction on my own. Like, at the point when I decided I didn't want to do it no more, I was suicidal.
Yes. Some people call it God, right? You had that strength. And if we look at, God is within you, there's nothing you can't overcome. And you've shown it. You overcame drug addiction. How old were you when you did that?
28 maybe. And then I, drank really heavily for a few years, and then I just decided this is stupid. So then now I just don't do anything. I guess you could say my new drug of choice is to be lazy, because I don't get off my couch. But that's why I got a dog, though, to make me have to get up and take him on walks and
love it.
Do things.
Yeah. Love it. I really hear like this really specialness about you, and that there's a part of you that feels very alone.
Very much.
And I go back to that statistic I just mentioned earlier. There are so many people now feeling that. I'll give you a nugget that I think is very true, and that what we need, we can get by giving. In other words, there's some need that has not for you been fulfilled, and that you also, what I really love hearing is that there's that part of you that hasn't given up on it. there are times when you have.
I'm very stubborn, so.
Good. That's helpful. In other words, if you put...
It's both.
It's both, yeah. That's true. It is both. But if you take it in the realm of that you're not just going to give up and give in, right? Or give in and give up, the stubbornness can be very helpful. In other words, I think there's a part of you that knows, maybe believes deep down that there is that person out there who is the lid for your pot, and that it is about partially not giving up, not giving in, and then doing something about it, because there's that hanging out on the couch, which can feel good, but it's delaying, and it's not being necessarily that healing or helpful to you.
Right. It can be very secluding, and I get really restless. So then I make myself go for a walk or something, or the dog wants to go for a run in the woods, and so we go do that.
Yeah.
But I don't. The reason I don't like to be out in public is because I feel like I'm very sensitive, even though I'm just really sensitive, and I pick up on other people's, like, whatever crap they're carrying with them. I feel like it latches on to me, and then I just get drained, and I will be pepping my step, good to go, and then all of a sudden, and people that know me pretty well, they can see it. And all of a sudden, I'm tired, and I need to go home and take a nap. And it happens just so quickly, and I don't know where it comes from, and I don't know who does it, and I don't know why, but that's just always been my way. So that's, and now that I'm older and I recognize that, that's also why I don't prefer to be out in public with a lot of people for extended periods of time, because it's tiring. I just don't feel like dealing with it. It's a lot of work. It's like cleaning a bathroom when the toilet has backed up and there's just like a foot of shit in your bathroom and you're trying to shovel it out. It's time consuming, it's exhausting, and it's messy.
And that is what is known as an empath. Have you heard that? Right?
Yeah.
And people who are empaths feel what you're feeling. And it does make socializing difficult.
Very much so.
Yes. And I believe that with any of our gifts, and it's a gift, also comes the flip side of that gift. It can be an albatross around your neck.
Yeah.
Yeah. There is no way around it. In other words, that gift was given to you. It's what you choose to do with it. Because right now, and for most of your 35 years, it has felt more like a curse than a gift. Understandably so. And people who go into addiction can be more empathic, sensitive. The world is a harsh, hard place.
It really is. And they don't tell you that. They just let you fall into it, which is really crappy. I think there should be a memo that people get about it.
Right? Yes. It is a harsh, hard place. And if we are not, when we are children, given a very soft, safe, unconditional love place to fall, it makes it doubly, triply, quadruply, I can't say the word, harsh and hard. And that happens for you.
But right, now, and that all the way back to what I said in the beginning, that's why I'm trying to make better choices for my kids, because I don't want their innocence to be snatched that quick.
Yep. And you can shift this for them. You are doing that. You can then, by doing that, also shift it for yourself. Do you believe that's possible?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I hear a lot of,
just
that.
A lot of work.
I know. Yes. But anything of value, anything worthwhile, I don't care what it is, it takes effort, it takes work, it takes intention, it takes all of it.
Right.
Anything. So
then how do I get past all that to move on and potentially find somebody?
I'm going to answer that in a moment.
Are you looking for your Mr. Right online? If so, you want to be approaching online dating in a way that produces the right results for you. Start by taking a free evaluation to test your skills, and you'll receive immediate results. Go to theonelovedatingtest.com. That's theonelovedatingtest.com. Don't wait, because Mr. Right is waiting to meet you. Theonelovedatingtest.com.
Your question to me, Becky, was, so how do I get past that and say the rest of it?
Find somebody worth spending time with to develop into a relationship, potentially.
Okay. So I'm going to answer that by asking you a couple of questions and helping you chunk it down for yourself. If I were to propose that to you, what would be the first step towards your goal of finding someone worthwhile to be dating for a potential relationship? What would be the first thing that you would need to do?
I don't know.
Okay.
Because I kind of, like, when you ask me that and when I think that question, I get really, like, there's just a blank.
So, you see, that's why you're stuck.
Right. And that's why I fall back to what I'm used to, because there's no blank.
Yeah. What's the fallback for you?
Narcissists, manipulators. That's like the type of people that I was with before.
Okay, so how were you coming across those guys? How did you meet them?
Well, they were everywhere. And they seem to be more cocky and sure of themselves, and so they're just more sure of themselves because they say it. They say, this is what I want, and then they tell you what you want to hear for a while, and then they get what they want, and then lo and behold, the mask comes off that I hate so much. And it's like, and even though I know that that's what they're doing, I still play the game. Like, I know that that's what they're doing, but I still feed into it because, well, if I'm not, I am human, and, whatever. So,
okay.
After so long of trying to be good, it's like, oh, I'm just going to go over here and ding dong around for a while, and then
you're right back to where you were.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to not go back to that. And I've had a lot of opportunity. I'm going to be honest. I have a lot of opportunity to go over and play at the jungle gym with these pieces of crap, but I really don't want to. And I'm really proud of myself. I have yet to go back over there.
Yay. So you see, you have identified something very important, and you are right. The most available, seemingly, and out there guys are the cockiest. We call it Cocksure, right? There's a reason that's in our language, Cocksure. Yeah.
Well, they definitely got it, and they know how to use it.
Yes. And it takes, you are already identifying that step one, which is eschewing those guys and saying no to those guys. Now, the saying no makes them try even harder.
Yeah, I know.
Right. Well,
Why?
it's catnip, because it's catnip. It is catnip to them, and it will make them try absolutely that much harder. It is the way you say no that can be very beneficial, and I can certainly talk to you about that. But it's also most important that you identified that part. Okay, so you know that is what you don't want. Here's what I'm hearing. You haven't yet experienced the other kind of guy. So you don't really know. You kind of know, like, oh, that's what I want intellectually. But because you haven't experienced it, it feels kind of foreign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be like eating real Chinese food. What the heck is that? That's not what I ordered. Because the Chinese food we eat here is not the same as what's actually being eaten in China.
Exactly.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So until there is that experience, and what that, just like if you wanted to experience real Chinese food, that is going to take steps and effort, because you're not just going to get it. You can't go to your local Chinese restaurant and say, "Can you make real Chinese food for me?" It's not going to happen. It would take steps and effort for that to happen. And this requires the same deal for you to meet those other men, to first of all identify them. They aren't going to be doing what the Cocksure guys do. They aren't going to be right in your face like the Cocksure guys are. It is going to take a different approach, but you can start to do that because you are at a place of recognizing, I do need to do something different to make it happen. So you're closer than you think. It's just now really taking those steps. And that's, of course, what I work with in working with women online to make that happen, because if we just do one approach or the other, meaning if we put everything online, our hopes, dreams, all of it there, or the flip side, which is the hopes, dreams there of not doing online at all, we limit our possibilities. It has to be a combination of both. And we don't have time for that today on the podcast, but again, if we were working together, it would be going through all of your opportunities in life and how you make those happen in a totally different way, with some little strategies, some differences, identifying how you could do that, and then starting step by step to do that, while concurrently being online and doing it in a way that immediately puts you in the first category. Because being online, it's very easy to be in that second category and to get guys coming at you wanting you to be in the second category and treating you as such. And it takes real strategy to work with it in a way to bypass those guys, keep them off the system, the radar, so to speak, because if not, you get frustrated and it's a time waster. And that is what is most important not to happen, so that you don't get burnt out on online and give up. I have women in my programs with online getting new meetings that, with a guy taking a step to actually introduce himself well before a first meeting, having up to 3 meetings a week when they're in that space and not having met a guy yet that they desire and want to continue with, but having those men be at a place where they want to continue, and then the woman decides, because that's what's really most important. But good men who've taken steps, and this is the third step in the One Love program, to get to the place where the man is actually reaching out to you with a call to introduce himself. This is the most important step, because without it, the man has not achieved something. He has not taken the step that will actually put you in the first category. It's huge. It's a lot more contextual than that, but that's the bottom line of it, is that when he makes those steps, he is putting you in that category. And from there, you have a much, much higher chance of success with a good guy. So we can talk more off of here, but our time is up today. I so appreciate you coming and being on today, because it, believe it or not, it was a step for you, right, in just deciding to do this.
Yeah.
I thank you again.
Thank you for letting me be on. I appreciate it.
So is your gift of being a sensitive woman, a feeling being, or an empath, which is taking a feeling human being to a degree that you actually take in the feelings of others as if you were feeling them? It's a gift, but also in our tough world, it can be a curse, like all gifts. They have their yin side and their yang side, their positives and their negatives. And in dating and in relating to the opposite sex, it can be extremely challenging to be an empath. It's extremely challenging just as the feeling being you are as a woman. And this has to be worked around vis-a-vis the male or males in our lives to make communication easiest for both, and to make our romantic lives easy, fluid, possible even, and keeping us in a grounded place. I work with this and all manner of challenges, of course, in my programs with women, because this is the real work of what we must do, besides the small strategies that increase a man's interest, desire, willingness to be all in, willingness to be there, willingness to commit. I love the fact that Becky wanted to do this podcast today, because it showed me she was mindful of the need to even investigate moving the needle. And knowing is not the same as doing. And in the little bit of doing, in taking small steps, we can get to our goal on the journey just as quickly as if we take massive steps when not ready and not connected to those steps. And then we have to take 4 steps back. So are you acting on your feelings only and not your inner knowing? Because acting on our feelings, especially when we are an empath, what can happen, even for just the feeling beings that we are as women? It can be a vicious cycle of deprivation. And because we are the emotional feeling beings and we have needs regarding those feelings and emotions, that deprivation can lead us to the flip side, into desperation. And staying centered is so important. Working with someone to stay centered can be seriously helpful. It keeps you in the knowing. It keeps you in the mindfulness that helps make you centered. So I hope this was helpful today. I know I got a lot out of speaking with Becky because it was raw. She was real. She was connected to what is going on for her. And she moved the needle just that little bit. And sometimes that's all it takes. It's like a spark. And the spark can begin the fire. And in listening to these podcasts, they can be the spark. And perhaps you'll be reaching out to me. I hope so. You can do that in a number of ways. If you're interested in being a guest on the podcast, possibly, go to realcoachingconversations.com and fill out a brief questionnaire, and we might be speaking very soon. You can also take the onelovedatingtest.com. The onelovedatingtest.com. See where you are in terms of online dating. That's a start to connect with me and to get that spark started, to move the needle. As always, we'll be talking to other women on podcasts to come, and you can look back at previous podcasts. If you are in relationship with a man and find it challenging, you can take a test there as well, willhecommit.com, willhecommit.com, and you can find out where your man is on the scale of being ready, willing, and able to commit. If you have a man in your life, you know how important it is to make him wonder.
Thank you for listening to Make Him Wonder. If you've benefited from today's conversation, please subscribe and share. Connect with Coach Paula at makehimwonder.com. There you can take several relationship evaluations, discover her books and other resources, and find out if one of her personalized coaching programs might be right for you.